Hello, and welcome back to Arcurus Plays Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, when last we left off, we had snuck into the bathroom here, and, well, we heard what Shinra's plans are for Aerith, and they are, I think, disgusting is not strong enough a word. Completely repulsive. So, essentially, Hojo plans on forcefully breeding Aerith with members of Soldier or others to get a new specimen, which it's rape. It's reprehensible. Yeah, that's why he's the most fucking evil man. Like, everybody else is greedy as shit and doesn't care about other people, but, like, he goes out of his way to do some of the most reprehensible acts to other human beings or other sentient beings that could possibly be done. Also, in the main backstory of the game, he's responsible for everything, basically.
I wonder... were I to arrange a face-to-face... how I should like to meet their offspring. But that can wait. First, we must have answers. A simple psychoactive agent should suffice. Nothing likely to cause any long-term damage.
Let's go.
Right.
In the meeting, they talked about SNG types of soldiers being appropriate candidates. So, as revealed to us in Crisis Core, there were basically 3 soldiers exposed to Genova cells or created via Genova cells. That would be Angeal, Genesis, and Sephiroth. I believe the G-types, the G-type soldiers are derived from Genesis. The S-types are derived from Sephiroth, and that would mean that there's also A-types who would be derived from Angeal. I think Cloud would be an S-type, to be honest. I think that has to do with, like, the lineage of, you know, what was done to create them being... it's so squicky. Anything new here? There shouldn't be. I thought there was an item in here.
Wait a minute. Yes, yes. Why didn't I think of that earlier?
Don't move. I ain't bluffing.
What is this?
A dozen bullets in your head, unless you open that door right now.
But no, Hojo's basically responsible for everything wrong in this world. Except for maybe Shinra's greed. Shinra existed before him, but
You must be the one
everything having to do with, like, the plot of Final Fantasy VII is Hojo's... it's Hojo's fault.
If so, I can't imagine what business you have with me. The president's upstairs. Go on, shoot.
Shut up. Keep walking. None of y'all better move a muscle.
Do stop pushing. Unlike you, I am less accustomed to physical violence.
You'll get used to it.
What is it that you want?
Our friend. She's in your lab.
Really?
Tell us where Aerith is.
Oh, so she's your friend. Well, well, well. In that case, yes, that might do the trick.
Mind speaking up some?
It's nothing. Just imagining how she might react if I were to present to her your fresh corpses. I promise, you will regret this.
The game doesn't dwell on it, but there were a lot of other, like, you know, assistants to him in here that he basically left them in here with this monster. Okay, so
Take it from here.
I got this. Watch yourself.
Yeah, I'll do it.
alright. So now he can do a Kiraga on the whole party. And now he can throw a regen on the whole party.
All the time. See ya.
Let's go with Infinity's End.
Come on.
Let's go put out more of these. Come on, Cloud. Let's try out Blade Burst.
Enough of
Efficiency gained.
Second win.
Okay, so let's give him an Infinity's End.
Take him down.
Strike hard and fast. We're gonna feel this one. There.
And he's not taking damage. Hate it when they do that. I basically lost all that damage. summon.
We're counting on you.
Just so we can get some extra DPS on the field.
Bring in the heat!
Okay, so let's get another Kiraga out. Follow that up with another regen.
I got
Come on, this thing's almost dead. Jeez.
Hey, Hojo's getting away!
At least there's a place to rest here. So we're kind of still keeping in, pace with the original game here. Now, as this section in the original game was much shorter, like when I talk about like pace, there's like an intended pace because, you know, you could go in guns blazing to here in the original game. You could also choose to sneak around. And part of the default that this game does is the sneak around part. So like if it adopts like a slower pace, it's like an appropriate pace. And some of the additions, such as the extended inclusion of Mayor Domino, the soldier, recognizing Cloud, that sort of thing. Like that's all in
Cocky
keeping.
little egghead, ain't you?
The results provided by my predictive models indicate that this force should be more than capable of handling you.
Y'all about to learn predictable.
We're taking Aerith back.
Oh, take her back, you say? Correct me if I am wrong, but did the girl not come here of her own free will? Or do you mean to tell me that she is your personal property?
There goes
She
Hojo
only came here to
gaslighting.
save Marlene.
I'm afraid you misunderstand. But I really can't be bothered to explain. This facility is home to extraordinary specimens that will change the world as we know it. Do try to be considerate.
You're mine.
I'm set. Get your ass out of here.
Your turn.
That's enough. Oh, yep, we just got the proficiency bonus there. I think we got the other one too.
Looks like your models got it wrong.
Yes, an unknown variable, perhaps. Well, no matter. Reinforcements will soon arrive.
Your models are way wrong because we've defeated
But will they
way
get here in
larger
time to
contingents of
save you from
Shinra
me?
troops.
Why are you a soldier?
Yeah.
No, not quite. Oh, now I recall. My memory was mistaken. My boy, you weren't a soldier.
things up to this time?
Cloud!
Barret.
Got it. Stand back.
You came for me.
Yep.
You good? I'm great.
It's time to fight the Sith
Thanks for
robots.
saving Marlene. I owe you one.
Save it for later.
Now these guys, they'll change.
Going in.
They'll change their weakness depending on whether or not they're in the suit. Let's see.
Say goodbye.
Now we've got Aerith. All that's left is to fight our way
You
out.
okay? Thank you. No biggie.
Let's get out of here.
The hell was that thing?
We need to go.
Is it a cat
Aerith!
or dog?
What the?
Or cat dog?
Come on.
Let's check some things here. Okay, battle intel. Okay, weapon abilities at 15 of 16. We still have 4 types of magic materia to master. And time materia, we definitely. Well, let's just look at here. So, we do have maxed out healing materia, cleansing materia, working on revival. So revival's 1. Fire, ice, lightning, wind, poison, barrier. So binding, subversion, time. Most of these are not going to happen on this playthrough, unfortunately. Though we're working on it. We're gonna get the one that, however, that has to do with. Let's go here. So she has to strike a staggered enemy with True Strike. So let's go ahead and make Tifa our party lead. Battle settings, there it is. Now, Hojo is going to spill the beans about Cloud's past way too early. I figured they would hint at it without expressly saying what's going on with Cloud's past, simply because for new players it would be such a... like, it hits so hard, like, later.
What? You want to go?
Stop.
Because there's very much like
Child's
a...
friend.
there's very much like a double reveal in this game. Or not in this game, but in the OG. Always give head pats.
what the hell is it?
I am Cat Dog.
A fascinating question.
Oh, did it just talk?
You asked what it is. I am that which you see before you. Nothing more. I'd appreciate it if we simply left it at that. Agreed?
13?
Red 13. The designation given to me by Hojo.
Then you must have another name. What is it?
Now, I wonder what they're
Get
gonna
away.
do with Red 13 to
So,
make
you
him
gonna go
very
get this son of a
coy
bitch?
about his actual name and his past and everything having to do with him, because he's pretty straightforward. He only gets a small section of the original game that really focuses on him. And I kind of really do like this section. Now, we've noticed when this kind of stuff has happened to Cloud before. It's always been something messing with his mind. And I realize I'm talking over Sephiroth monologuing in the background.
They have come again.
Cloud!
You know, Reno, I think you might be due for some R&R.
Nah, I'm good.
What are we going to do about Sector 7?
We are going to do nothing.
Been thinking. Was all that necessary?
Had we refused, someone else would have completed the task. We have spared that someone the burden of a guilty conscience. Perhaps that will ease yours.
Yeah, no.
Let's try another tack then. They were a sacrifice to balance the scales.
Say what?
After everything we'd taken from the planet, we were due to give something back.
Do you actually believe that?
Does it matter? Yes. Understood. The VP needs us.
Cloud.
Oh, thank goodness. You're awake.
You okay?
Yeah. Where are we?
Where I lived when I was still a child.
It's really nice to see that even cooped up at a place like this, you know, Aerith did her place to make it lively, or she did her best to make it lively. And to chat a little bit about, you know, the Turks and where they're at. We had that little scene with them. So, I have a personal headcanon on why the Turks do what they do, and, you know, other than, like, how much the audience actually has liked them over the years as to why they make that swap over from being the villains in this game to being active helpers in, say, other games in the series, as well as, you know, the compilation as a whole, like the movie where they're honestly trying to help the good guys. That has to do with the fact that, you know, they do believe that they are professionals and that the things they do aren't personal. So whereas I believe that the Turks probably have extorted, murdered, blackmail, you know, that sort of thing, like, they probably believed that it was for a cause. And dropping the Sector 7 plate, whereas, you know, they just viewed it as professionalism following orders to do it, you know, they've probably never done something to that scale, and something that seemed so out of proportion. And so that would start them on this process of questioning. You know, we saw it from Brood, we saw it from Reno. The only one we're not really seeing it from is Sung himself. So, in the next games in this series as we go along, I'm actually really interested to see how they do that heel turn for the Turks, because it really wasn't done well, if at all. There's a choice to fight them late on in the original game where you can just say, nah, it's not worth it. And they'll be like, then they'll agree, because they'll be like, yeah, basically Shinra's done, nobody's paying us, there's no reason to fight you, you know, so we're just gonna go our separate ways. So, I am interested in, like, the little details, especially the character details, of where they're going to be taking the remake series.
Are you okay? Maybe you should rest a little longer.
And we got another new staff for Aerith. Can we talk to anybody
I don't want
but
you to
Aerith?
push yourself. We're all worried.
Oh, she's talking to us.
My mom and I stayed here years ago when I was just a little girl. The room looks exactly the same.
I mean, Shinra does want to treat them like guests, so that they will divulge the, you know, the secrets of the planet to them. Like, we've got, like, bathroom here, computers here.
I'm the one who carried you here.
Thanks, Red. You are a bro, and you will continue to be a bro. I always like interrogating these, like, little spaces.
Take my mom away. I remember crying here alone.
Aerith, before we break out of here, talk to us. There's so much we don't know.
I'm a descendant of the ancients. That's pretty much it, really. Oh, but just so you know, that's not their actual name. They called themselves the Cetra.
We who were born of the planet, with her we speak, her flesh we shape. Unto her promised land shall we one day return. By her loving grace and providence, may we take our place in paradise.
You know it.
Yeah, well, honestly, I thought that part was just a fairy tale.
This metaphor is what it is.
Shinra thinks it's true. They've been searching for the Promised Land for a long time.
And they must think you can lead them to it. Can you?
Nope. Someday, maybe, I'll find it in me.
It's because
But
it's a
now,
metaphor,
not
everyone.
even if I wanted to.
It's not a
Even
real
if
place.
you could, that land belongs to the... I mean, to you and your people. Shinra's after it because they believe it's rich in Mako. Mako they've got no right to claim. But they'll try to take it anyway, won't they? Greedy bastards will never stop. Okay, new plan. Y'all take Aerith and get the hell out of here. Me, I'm gonna go bust some Shinra heads.
Barrett, wait. You can't do that.
Oh, great. These assholes again. Probably some Shinra science experiment.
Whispers.
And this is the best explanation we're going to
Perhaps
get
best described
for the time
as
goes.
arbiters of fate. They are drawn to those who attempt to alter destiny's course and ensure they do not.
Like capital D? Destiny?
The flow of the great river that is the planet, from inception to oblivion.
And you're saying that that flow is somehow fixed?
Yes, for it is the will of the planet itself.
So if we're destined for a bleak future, these whispers will try to keep us on that course? Now wait just a damn minute. How in the hell can you possibly know any of that? Spouting that cryptic stuff, which could all be bullshit. I mean, ain't you a Shinra lab rat or dog?
I'm not a rat dog. When Aerith reached out to me, I found this knowledge of the Whispers.
And that's the
Listen
least
to me.
plausible explanation.
Please.
Aerith.
The Shinra Electric Power Company isn't the real enemy. It started with them, sure, but I promise you, there's a much bigger threat. I just want to do everything in my power to help. All of you. And the planet.
Aerith, what are you not telling us?
I'm lost in a maze, and every step is taking me further from the path. Every time the Whispers touch me, I lose something, a part of myself. Follow them, the yellow flowers.
It's okay. We'll find a way out together.
Okay.
I have particular beliefs about why the whispers surround Aerith, so. But at this point, the plot is picking up enough that it's going to be kind of difficult to like talk about like everything that's going on, like, and like some of the symbology and the metaphors that are being made and that sort of thing. We'll get to the next. We'll get to the next part where we actually have control, and after all these info dumps are done.
Aha! There you are. Rick, what are you doing, man? Hey guys, long time no see.
Wedge?
You're here?
You shouldn't be up and moving.
I'm feeling much better thanks to Elmira's cooking. But that's not what I wanted to talk to you about. Listen, any moment now...
What was that? An explosion?
HQ's running the show this time. They're raising hell to try and flush out the president. This complicates matters. That explosion just now put the whole building on high alert.
It's something
So
really
now
just
we're
clicked
trapped in
for
here?
me.
No need to panic, little lady. See? You can still move freely within Hojo's laboratory. Find a way to the roof. An avalanche chopper will come to extract you.
HQ's bailing us out? I doubt it. Not after all the shit we've pulled.
I asked them really nicely.
It's
Like
not about
super
that,
duper nicely.
Thanks, Wedge.
and I just realized it.
Just get to the roof, okay?
Oh?
I didn't ask him to do any of that.
Yeah, well, I'm glad he did.
I'm gonna still chew him out for it later.
Okay. So they're all getting going. As long as there's not going to be any huge exposition dumps right now. Alright, let's talk about a couple of things. So, like, the first thing I realized is that, I remember before Crisis, you actually find out that Rufus Shinra is actually, like, a big... Rufus Shinra is the vice president of Shinra and President Shinra's son. We're going to meet him short-ishly. Well, not shortishly in this game. Were this the original game, we would meet him very, very shortly. But we're going to meet him, but he's vice president next in line for Shinra, but he's also, like, the main guy behind the original Avalanche. And so my suspicion here is that he's still behind Avalanche, and that he's going to be doing an Emperor Palpatine where he manipulates both sides for his own goals. So, you know, they mentioned the vice president needs us, he needs to get here, and all of a sudden, Avalanche is trying to flush out the president, and that's probably for Rufus's own goals of taking over. Secondly, when we get back to the Cetra, and the verses that Barrett was spouting about, like, the Cetra finding their own promised land, the promised land isn't a literal thing. It's a metaphor for the joy of rejoining with the flow of souls on the planet. Because when you die, you go back to the live stream and you bring everything back, and, you know, spiritual togetherness and all that sort of thing, which was a big idea behind the original story in the original game, because throughout the development, one of the main producers, you know, his mother died, and whereas the whole change and, like, everything in Final Fantasy isn't solely due to that, like, all of the themes, he did wanted to include the theme that, you know, the dead never really leave us. And that's kind of like a big theme, and the live stream is a big representation of that. So everything Barrett was talking about, you know, it's all metaphor. It's a metaphor for the togetherness of being with our loved ones, or them still being with us after they die, and basically the place of ultimate happiness being where we can be together with all of the people we loved. And, you know, that's the metaphor of the Promised Land. It's not a literal place. But what's interesting is that even though Aerith is basically, like, the last big practitioner of that faith, she doesn't really see it as a faith. She's very skeptical about it. However, it's the bad guys who are, even though it's looked at as, like, under the guise of corporate greed, it more parallels, like, you know, how there are a bunch of religious groups in our real world who see like, the tenets of their faith as, like, it's all real, it's 100% accurate, and I'm specifically talking about Christianity here, when, you know, a lot of the teaching of Christianity is, you know, it's tales to teach us how to be better people, but they take it 100% literally, which is what Shinra's doing with the Promised Land and all of the lore of the Ancients / the Cetra. They're taking it at face value without reading into the metaphor, reading into it any further, which is kind of an interesting take to go with that. So I've rambled on for a little bit, so let's get this going, because the plot in this game is about to take a grinding halt.
Anyway, we gotta get to the roof, right?
Then we can use the same elevator that Hojo did.
I remember doing this part of the game over and over again, because this part right here is how you can get Aerith.
That elevator, was it this way?
Yes, his odor still lingers.
Because you can get Aerith to the final, like, combat VR chamber. Although, I do not believe it's going to be available on a first-time playthrough in a save. We've been in here. This isn't where we want to go. Elevator's over here. So, if in this game we just went up to President Shinra's office to escape and did all that, I wouldn't have quite as many complaints about the climax of this game as I do.
The little ones in the pods. Where did they go?
That stinks in here.
Back there.
Now what do we do?
One thing we can.
Someone's picking a fight.
So go give them one already.
Way ahead of you. Don't overdo it.
I'll take care of them. Okay, let's go.
Nice job. What?
Well, at least Barrett's default here
Shit! What the hell, Red?
is to treat Red like, you know, a person. Alright, so we're gonna have to do some stuff because it added Aerith to our party. And we are going to have to do some things here. Okay, so we got the reinforced staff, which, wow, is not as good as the mithril rod. So we're gonna reslot things from the previous weapon. We're gonna go ahead and upgrade this weapon for her. So we're gonna want new materia slot. That's the one. Let's go with increased MP, increased magic power, physical defense, tempest defense. What's this one? Magic defense. Nope, I didn't want to back out that much. I really don't like these menus, like this stuff. We'll go with Tempest damage. Okay, so we're going to want a healing materia, we're going to want a cleansing materia, and we probably want that here. I would love to put a magnify materia here, so we will. A lot of these are going to come from Barrett, so ooh. I do want to put Revival here, along with the AP up. I'm going to give you Barrier. We took Cleansing off. Let's go ahead and put that back on. I do want you to have Prayer. And then probably MP up. So let's go to Barrett. We could keep him unranged. He's got the magic up, he's got the binding materia. What materials do we need to actually train here? They should all be, yeah, they're all equipped. Let's go with HP Absorb with a Fire materia. Go ahead and give him an Assess, just so if we happen to have him in our party, we can see what's going on. Provoke is actually really good for him to have. If I have a spare HP up, he's gonna get it. I do not. Auto Cure, actually, be pretty good. There we go. So, there's nothing really to buy here. So I believe that in here, like that would be where the battle simulator would be, but because we haven't completed the whole game on this save, it's not going to let us access it. So we'd have our last opportunities to talk to Chadley there, that sort of thing.
Let's go.
Right.
Thing is, the motif with the black feathers, that's not really a Sephiroth thing, because his wing is white. The black feathers is a Genesis thing, and that's from Dirge of Cerberus. And the Dirge of Cerberus characters are basically things that I never ever want to see again.
Hojo's treasure. Shinra's dark secret.
what I wouldn't give to burn it all down. But we need to get to the roof.
Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus for the PS2 is quite possibly when, like, it's the most out there of all of the Final Fantasy VII compilation, and that, like, they have so many elements in it that match with the rest of the story, but they add in so many more that don't. And it's infuriating. And that's even before you start talking about the subpar third-person shooting mechanics. Oh boy. Subpar third-person shooting mechanics. And that's Jenova. I've talked about Jenova a couple of times, but this entity is part of the root of most things going on in this setting. It's Hojo and his obsession with it.
What is that?
Jenova.
And because Cloud has Jenova cells within him, Jenova can communicate with him.
Mother. Together, we will reclaim our world.
I'm sick of this. I'm sick of all of this! Cloud?
Cloud's having flashbacks that we're not going to have for a little bit. And this is basically the first time that the other characters can see Sephiroth other than Palmer. Which means he's either here because Jenova only has a psychic connection with Cloud.
Tell me, is it really you?
Or something else. And I think the fact that Cloud grasps his left arm specifically, I think that is a reference to Advent Children.
Embrace me. A touching reunion.
There's that motif of reunion again.
Very, very good. And thus is the hypothesis proven correct.
Oh, I'm sure later we're going to hear about
I can only hope you will continue
the
not
Jenova
to
reunion
disappoint.
theory. But I'll go ahead and explain it for those who may be curious. The Jenova reunion theory is that Jenova's like a parasitic life form, and anything that is infected, so to speak, with Jenova cells, which the cells themselves, so like, you have to think of Jenova as like basically a hive mind creature where each cell is part of a hive mind. So like, there's one mind, but every single cell is a but every single cell is like its own singular organism. And no matter how far an organism, one cell is from the others,
Test subject pods? Guess I can use these.
and no matter how far it is from the others, it can still be influenced by the main hive mind. But there's also the fact that Jenova wants to be one, it wants to be whole. So it will infect others, but those others eventually have to, you know, bring their cells back to the main being. And part of what Hojo is obsessed with is taking cells out of Jenova and injecting them into other creatures and people, because Jenova has powers and it grants those powers to others. part of the reason why Sephiroth is so powerful is not only has he been exposed to Mako, which is this stuff right here, not only has he been exposed to Mako in a way that enhances him, but he also gets extra powers from the fact that he does harbor many Genova cells. In fact, even though we saw the main, it could be said that Sephiroth is the main Genova organism at this point in the story, rather than Genova itself. One of the big mysteries of the compilation as a whole is how much of Genova, like, is Genova controlling Sephiroth, or is Sephiroth controlling Genova? So who's in control? Who's the mastermind? Or does Genova just simply, is it simply taking on or being influenced by Sephiroth's persona in the, you know, the hive mind part? So we have this whole section here where we're going to be making our way out of the labs, and this is way longer than it really needs to be.
Need a hand?
Thanks.
Alright, so Red 13 has joined as a guest member. He'll fight alongside us, but he is not a controllable character. Probably because, like, the length that this game takes, he's not going, like, he wasn't going to be in the game very long, so they probably didn't want to bother to spend resources creating an in-depth combat system for him yet.
That's that.
You okay?
Yeah. Where are the others?
Nowhere close.
Let's go.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and save it here. And we will start another episode. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This is Sarkuris, signing off.